Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Baxter and I'm a developer advocate at IBM for Bluemix. And today I'd like to talk to you about how to debug deployments that are failing when deploying your application to Bluemix. So one of the most common problems that I see in the developer forums are people who have tried to deploy their application to Bluemix and that deployment fails. And they're not sure how to go about figuring out what went wrong during the deployment. So to demonstrate the problem, I have a very simple Liberty Java application here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something pretty bad to the application. I'm going to go ahead and delete the web XML. And this should actually cause the application to fail to start. So to test that out, let's go ahead and build our application. So I'm going to run my ant build here. And it's going to produce our new jar file with the broken web XML in it. And once that WAR file is built, let's go ahead and deploy that to Bluemix. So I'm going to go ahead to the command line. I'm already in the folder of the application that I have working on in Eclipse. So let's go ahead and just run our cf push command. And obviously, if you used the command line utility before, you'll know what cf push does, and cf push will go ahead and just upload our application to Bluemix and try to start it up. Okay, so it's clearly obvious that our application is not going to start here. Bluemix actually tried several times to start the application and it was unsuccessful. Now, the cf push command line utility does give you a nice hint here to use cf logs, your application name, and then add the -- recent parameter to the command. And this may or may not work depending on your situation. Bluemix will actually delete the file system of the application when it's not running. So depending on how long you wait to run this command, it may or may not succeed. The first thing you should do is try and run it and see what happens. If you see something useful in the log files, then great, you've found your problem. But if you don't see anything there or nothing comes back, then you need to do something else. So what to do? Well, the trick that I use when I'm debugging problems with deployments is I actually tail the log files of the application during the deployment. So to do that, you do something similar to this command, but you just drop off the -- recent. So let's open another command line utility, command line window here, and run the cf logs command. So let's do cf logs demo, and leaving off the -- recent will allow us to tail the log files of the application. So now that we're tailing the log files of the application, let's go ahead and run our cf push again. Okay. So at this point we can probably see what the problem is. So you see that our application, that Bluemix tried to start our application. Here we can see the DEA outputted starting application instance, and then we see all this yellow logging in yellow here is coming from our application, right? It's from our application actually starting. And then there's a nice big section of red down here which includes the error. So you can see that the exception was that the web XML is invalid, right? It's empty, so it's not a well-formed document. So that causes the application to fail to start. Now Bluemix will continuously try and start the application and will continuously fail with this error. But you can see that we actually able to see the problem here while tailing the log files, but over here we saw nothing of that error during the cf push. So when you're having problems doing a deployment and it's not working for whatever reason, I highly suggest that you tail the log files of your application and try the deployment again, because it oftentimes reveals the error that's causing the problem with your application. So I hope that you find this tip useful, and happy coding.